welcome, welcome, welcome. Hello, 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 Mosaic Souls. Hey, Mosaic Souls, this is Rachael Alexander, artist and Mosaic Soul mentor, and welcome to Divine Earth School, where high achievers and spiritual seekers come to expand, express, and embody their divinity, where I talk all things health, wellness, life, business, and spirituality. So let's dive in. So I wanted to start these Soul Nugget Sundays for quite some time. It's been probably some years in the making. It was definitely what I would consider sort of like a nugget, sort of buried seed of my soul that's been wanting to be birthed through. So I want to start coming on here live on Sundays. I'm still debating on what time. 3 p.m. feels good for me right now, but I might switch it up to be earlier in the day or later in the evening. But for today, we're going to go with 3 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. So today, I really wanted to talk about your soul's purpose, right? And learning to embody what that is and understanding what is a soul, for those of you who are just awakening. I have a lot of new people who come who are just awakening to their divinity in different ways, just having a spiritual awakening, or even if you've been on this journey a while, right? Having this sort of basic knowledge and understanding is super helpful and crucial in helping you to really live your divine purpose in your life, right? So I have my notes here, and I really want to talk through some of this stuff and share some of what I was sort of asking for clarity with my divine team and making sure that I was sort of in tune with what wanted to be shared. If you're joining me live, feel free to say hi in the chat where you're from. But yeah, so I wanted to talk about your soul's purpose today, right? So the first thing about your soul's purpose is, first I want to sort of define the fact that for those of you who are just sort of just starting out and recognizing that you're more than just this human suit, right? This fleshly suit, understanding that you are more than just your human self, right? More than just your thoughts, your feelings, your emotions, right? And sort of laying that foundation and understanding that that's who you are, right? You're more than just this human fleshly suit, right? And then the second piece of that is understanding that you are an infinite, multi-dimensional, powerful, creative being, right? So a lot of times you hear a lot of people say, I'm a soul having a human experience, or I'm a spirit having a human experience, but most of us don't live that way. Most of us live very much so from our egoic selves, from our old past conditioning, from our personality selves, which is fine. We're in this process of like deep evolution on the planet, right? And so understanding that you are an infinite being, right? This multidimensional, creative, powerful being, limitless being who's playing the game of limitation right now, right? You've come to play the game of limitation on our planet right now, where we're, experiencing duality, experiencing the many different tests and trials and tribulations, if you will. I don't really consider them that, but, many of us do, the lessons that we're here to learn, right? So understanding who you are is the key, right? And when you understand that, then this other piece is you're here. Part of what your soul purpose is I feel like we all have a very similar purpose in the way that we are the reason why we've incarnated on the planet. But then the reason why we've incarnated takes shape and manifest in different ways for each and every one of us, right? So we each individually have our own unique soul blueprint, or different lessons or different experiences and different soul's intentions that we wanted to explore, we wanted to birth into this world, we wanted to create and experience, right? Lessons we wanted to learn and master, right? So with all this sort of things going on at the same time, I'm going to give sort of like the basis of the things that each and every soul I feel like has come to embody and experience to some degree or other, right? And then I'm going to go from there. So the first thing, if you resonate with this, and as I always say, flow with what feels good and let go of what doesn't. If it resonates, it's for you. If it's not, it ain't. So moving on. So the first thing is you're here to wake up, right? You're here to wake up to who you truly are and to bring forth your divinity in whatever way best serves your human journey and your soul's intentions, right? So that's really one of the things, one of the reasons why your soul has incarnated. Part of being here, I remember reading of Water and the Spirit. I can't remember the name of the guy who wrote the book, but I remember him talking about in his society in West Africa, in their tribe, that the shaman would speak to the mother's womb to get a picture of what that soul came here to do, right? Each soul came for a purpose, and they would name the child based upon the soul's intentions for that child's life, right? And so the person who wrote the book of Water and the Spirit, great book, he talks about what his purpose was, and his purpose was to spread the message and the wisdom of his tribe to the world at large, right? And so I feel like each and every one of us have our own unique things that we're here to explore. But part of what we're here to explore, each and every one of us, to a certain degree, not every soul is here to have a spiritual awakening, but we're here to remember and to embody more of our divine true selves, right? And that takes shape in various different forms. Not every soul has to have a spiritual awakening, if you will, in order to live out this aspect of their purpose. But usually if you're watching this, you have had some sort of spiritual awakening, or it's been sort of a gradual. Sometimes it can be sudden, it can be a spiritual experience, or it can be a gradual, like, I feel like I'm here for something more, right? Like when you have that energy or that feeling or desire, like I'm here for something more. And it might be something that's like grand and like I'm here to make a big imprint, or it might just be something simple, right? Like I'm here to do something more, like I'm here to experience more, to have more, to bring forth more, right? To create more, whatever it is, whatever way it's showing up, right? That essence is sort of your soul calling you forth into more and more of what you're here to experience, right? And so waking up to who and what you truly are is the aspect of your divinity that you're here to experience, right? And when I'm talking about waking up to who you truly are, I mean you beyond this fleshly human suit, right? You beyond just being a human, just being someone who has this human identity and personality, and sort of learning to embody and imbue your human experience with more of your divine soul true purpose, right? So if you think of, I'm trying to think of, if you think of an actor, right? Like you are the soul, and when you step on stage, right, you become this personality and you put on these different characteristics and these different costumes. That's your personality, that's your human self, right? Whereas you are the soul, the infinite being, who's sort of really, you're like kind of like the puppeteer, right? Like your soul is kind of like the puppeteer, right? The person, if like you were, our human selves is sort of like the puppets, and then our soul is really like the puppeteer, right? And except it's like puppeteering with free will, right? So we have the choice to follow our inner soul's guidance and our intuition, and we have the choice not to, right? And so the thing about embodying and expressing and experiencing your soul's purpose is really about understanding that when you start to listen more and more to your intuition and put your soul in the driver's seat of your life becomes more smooth sailing. That doesn't mean you get to bypass, any challenges or any, contrast that may come up, right? But it means that your life is just more synchronistic, right? More synchronicities happen. Your life feels easier. It becomes easier, right? And so embodying your soul's purpose is like an expression of that. When you start to live in alignment, I use that term alignment all the time. Alignment map is one of the tools that I utilize with my coaching clients. But it's really about aligning to your divinity, aligning to your soul, such that your life becomes more easily effortless, more harmonious, right? And so the one aspect that we've all come to experience and embody to some degree or other, some more than others, is we're here to wake up to who we truly are. wake up to the fact that we're more than just a human being. And some of us, and the way that manifests is different for every soul, every person, right? So some of us have come to wake up fully and be like, yo, this is an illusion. All of this is illusion. And some of us might just be like, I just really felt like giving that person an extra dollar, right? Or they're really in tune with their intuition, but they might not necessarily, or they listen to their gut feeling, but they might not believe in a higher power or believe in something beyond just this human life. It manifests differently for everyone. So that's number one. Number two is that you're here to learn lessons and to have experiences, right? So we're here to have experience, a plethora of different experiences. Our souls have come here with different intentions and different sort of touch points, if you will, that it wanted to experience while here on the planet. But through our free will, we can choose to go along with our soul's intentions, or we can choose to go away from it. Usually when we're steering away from our soul's purpose or soul's intentions, our life is a lot harder. Life feels like a drag. It feels like not fun. It feels hard. It feels like, like, why am I here? It just feels like you're always like pushing against a boulder. It feels like you're always pushing against something, like life is just always difficult, right? Whereas when you're in alignment with your soul's intentions, synchronicities happen. Even when challenges show up, you start to move through those challenges with creativity and grace and ease, right? And the challenges don't take you down, and you don't go into a full-on depression or, have a psychotic break because of the challenges that show up, right? So it's following your soul's purpose isn't necessarily like some free pass through life where you get to be like, oh, no more challenges, no more lessons. I'm free from all of that, and I talked about this in one of my posts on, I think, my Instagram account, where I talked about, what spirituality is not. And one of the things that I talked about in that post was just basically understanding that spirituality is not like a bypass or a pass where you can get to like skip out on life, right? Like, no, you're still here for a plethora of different experiences, right? So understanding that you're here to learn lessons and to advance in your soul's expansion and growth. And I remember asking my divine team about, soul lessons, our soul's lessons. And the way they talked about it is sort of, I'm looking up because they're talking to me now. The way they talked about it was sort of like they don't necessarily subscribe to the version of lessons, but they see how we can utilize that terminology to help us sort of move through our life experiences easier. They said what they resonate more so with is sort of like spiritual aids, right? So they're almost like checkpoints, right? It's almost as if like you're on this journey. Welcome, welcome, Miss Joy in the Morn. Welcome. You're so welcome. They talked about this as almost like, they call it spiritual aids, right? So these sort of checkpoints in your life, right? As if you're like your soul has decided, okay, plop, I'm gonna be a human for this amount of time, and I'm gonna have these experiences, I'm gonna have these challenges, and I'm gonna explore and journey through these things and see what it's like, right? And so it's like we're on this sort of journey, right? And you have like this map in front of you, and then the map is like you have like pins in the map, right? For different places that you want to stop and see, right? Now, we as a personality, our human ego selves, have a choice to be like, nah, I'm not gonna stop at that point, and we can switch up the checkpoints, right? But the soul has an intention to experience these different things, right? Simply because it wants to evolve, it wants to grow, it wants to expand, it wants to have more experiences and master more of itself through the perception of limitation, right? So incarnating on in human form is one of the best ways to like master your soul, right? Because being human ain't easy, right? Your soul knew that this human journey wasn't going to be easy, right? And so our souls like sort of revel in the journey. It's almost like if you were playing a video game and you have to go through all these like hard, like these checkpoints, and you're like, yeah, I made it to the next level, right? Like that's what our souls are here doing, right? Like some of the challenges, right? Oh no, I don't have enough money in my bank account. Oh no, I just got fired. Oh no, my husband left me. Oh no, my kids are moving off and going off to college, right? All these different like things that emotionally check us at. It's like checkmate, right? Like checkpoint. And how we move through these different areas is sort of like our souls learning different ways, and not even really our souls, just sort of our personality and the way that we experience our souls. And that sort of information that we gather from how we move through these situations, whether that's through grace or hardship or whatever, that goes to our souls and we expand even more, right? And so it sort of becomes like this collective consciousness of awareness, right? That expands. You're so welcome. Welcome, Miss Oracle. Welcome, welcome, welcome. Yeah, so that's basically that, because I was asking about lessons, because at first I really didn't resonate with the whole we're here to learn lessons, which is kind of ironic because of the whole Divine Earth School. The Divine Earth School was definitely channeled to me a very long time ago. It was a soul seed that is now being birthed into the world as I speak, right? So we're here for sort of like different things that we're here to master, right? And these are what our challenges are presented as, right? So that's like the second thing that we're here for. And then the third thing that I feel like we're here, each and every soul is here for, and it manifests differently, like I said, for each and every individual, is that we're here to bring forth our gifts for the purpose of human evolution, right? So if you're gifted, many of the people, many of my clients, and just people that I've met along my journey, we're all gifted in many different things. And it's not necessarily that our gifts are here to, we're not supposed to necessarily monetize our gifts all the time, right? Although that could be one of the things, like you're gifted in, singing, or you're gifted in planting a garden, or you're gifted in whatever, right? And that could turn into a business, or that could turn into a gig or something. Or it could just be simply that you are a really good listener, and that gift manifests in you being a really great, compassionate, loving presence in your family unit, right? And you're able to help people maneuver through life, and that could be a different gift, right? So our gifts are here for the human evolution, and it creates a ripple effect, even though we don't see it in our physical human cells because we're here experiencing this limitation, right, of our human bodies. But it does create an energetic ripple effect the more we bring forth our gifts into the world, right? And so those are really the three aspects of your soul's purpose that I've seen be manifested, and the reason why we've come to explore and experience ourselves, right, in this human form, to sort of get to the next level, if you will, for our soul's mastery and evolve and expand and explore, right? And so the three things, just as a recap for those of you who are just joining me, the first reason, or the first aspect of our soul's purpose is really for us to wake up to who and what we truly are beyond just our fleshly suits. Wake up to the fact that we are divine, infinite, multidimensional beings having this very temporary human experience, right? And that awakening will happen differently for each and every human being. But that's part of why we've come here. We've come to play forgetfulness, and then to remember, oh, I'm not just this human thing. I'm actually more than just this human fleshly suit. I'm actually an infinite being. And even when this body drops, when this body dies or passes away, I'm going to go on to other adventures, whether and I'm going to reincarnate, or I'm going to move on to other higher dimensional games, right? So that's aspect number one. The second aspect is we're here to learn lessons and to have experiences, right? And part of those experiences is that we want to enjoy our human experience. We didn't necessarily always come here to like grind and, go through hardships all the time. Although some of us did come here to experience, certain hardships so that we can move through them, because we knew that us going through that experience would create a ripple effect and an expansion on the planet, right? I'm not going to bring up examples because I'm thinking of a few different ones that are coming into mind. But when you think of, just those moments in life where you think like, how could, someone choose to go through that? That's a part of it, right? Like those moments, like, rape, or being held at gunpoint, or experiencing some of the like really dark aspects of our human experience, right? Some souls do incarnate to have those experiences because they know that it will create a ripple effect and cause greater expansion in human consciousness and evolution, right? So part of these lessons is to help us advance our soul's expansion and growth. And then the third aspect is we're here to bring forth our divine gifts, our innate gifts, for the purpose of human evolution and our soul's growth, right? So those are really just the three aspects that I've recognized that we're each here to embody and experience and explore, right? While we're here on the planet. And if you're feeling like you're desiring more, there's something, this tug of, not this tug of war, but this inner like desire for like, I'm here for something more. I know that I'm here to do more. That's really what your soul is beckoning you forth. So give me pause, the negative things that happen to say an innocent child. Yeah, I know. And as I always say with all my videos, feel free to flow with what feels good and let go of what doesn't, because we're all here for different things, right? But my understanding and from what resonates for me is that we're each here to explore and experience different things, even the hard stuff like, you know, a child being raped and those things. Not to say that every child who was ever raped on the planet, that soul had that intention. But I don't believe, my belief system is always flow with what feels good and let go of what doesn't. No soul comes into and is incarnated without knowing that some of the bad things that happen, quote unquote, aren't a possibility, right? So your soul might not have intended for you to necessarily, like, let's say someone who was raped might not have intended for that person to actually go through that experience, but it knew that that might be a possibility. Or some souls do incarnate and say, you know, I'm going to have this experience because I know that that's going to set me up for this later on in life, right? So that's just the way that I see it. That's my understanding of it, in regards to sort of the darker aspects of our human character and the darker aspects of our human experiences, right? But in general, those are the three aspects that I've noticed that we're each here to explore, right? We're here to wake up to who we truly are, knowing that we're more than just this human thing. We are here to learn lessons and to have experiences and really to enjoy our lives, right? So enjoy our lives to the best of our ability. And how we do that is to really tune in to who and what we truly are. And there are many tools to do that. And then the third thing is we're here to bring forth our divine innate gifts, right? Whether these gifts are actual things that you bring forth or just energies that you embody. Like, I just know, like my mom, for instance, that woman is like the epitome of divine compassion. Like, she's worked in the medical field for over 30 years. She's just now retired. But if you ever meet my mom or anything like that, she's like the epitome. Her soul is here to embody and express divine compassion, right? Like, she just imbues that, like, when she just has this loving, compassionate energy about her, right? So that's a gift, right? Not everybody is that way, right? So it's about bringing forth your gift, right? And a gift might be like divine compassion and energetic quality, or it might be something more specific, like you have the gift of speaking, or you have the gift of connecting people, or you have the gift of, you know, whatever. It shows up in so many ways, but that's a different aspect of, you know, how one of the things that we're here to do. And if you're feeling that tug and you're feeling that desire to want to further express and experience more of your true self, start by listening to your intuition, right? That little inner voice that says, yeah, do this, or nah, don't do that, right? Start listening to those inner nudges, because that is your soul giving you guidance, right? And one of the ways to make life easier and a lot more fun is to start listening to your soul. And I remember just sort of picking that up, even as a little girl, always just having this idea in the back of my mind, or understanding that this personality was just temporary. Like, this Rachael character that you see in front of you is totally temporary, right? And that the more I put my soul in the driver's seat of my life, the more I followed my intuition, is another way of saying it, the more I followed those inner nudges, those inner understandings of my life, the more that life became easier, right? The more synchronicities came into place, the more clients came, the more fun and joy I had, the more love I experienced, the more abundance I experienced, the more health and well-being I experienced, right? So when you follow your soul and you start living your soul's purpose, living your soul's intentions, that's when life becomes just beautiful. And even when we don't listen, like we're never not completely out of alignment. We're just sort of mismanaging our lives per se in a way that sort of harms our souls or harms us, you know? And when we're living in a way where we're harming ourselves, where we're not in integrity with ourselves, then we're creating sort of like negative synchronicity and negative experiences, unwanted experiences, more and more and more. But the more in harmony and in integrity we live, the more we're experiencing harmony, the more we're experiencing balance, the more we're experiencing ease, and the more we're creating a ripple effect for others on the planet to experience more and more of their own true selves, more and more of their divinity, right? So I'm going to open the floor if you guys have any questions for those of you who are live, or for those of you who are watching who will watch the replay, pop them in the comments below or the chat below. And thank you guys for watching. I hope this has been helpful. Welcome to Soul Nugget Sundays, where we're going to be tapping into all aspects of living more fully as the divine being that you truly are, and really learning to live more intuitively and live more in alignment with your true selves. So if there's no more questions, thank you guys for watching, and definitely visit me at divineearthschool.com. I have some freebies that are there, the essentials of developing a spiritual practice, things of that nature. Visit me at divineearthschool.com. And if you're looking to really embody your soul's purpose in the form of turning it into a business or turning it into a creative project and stuff like that, definitely visit me at divineearthschool.com/call to see how we can work together to help you bring forth your soul's purpose in the form that your soul is calling you forth towards. So I thank you guys so much for watching. And as always, flow with what feels good and let go of what doesn't, because you are divine. You are a divine being, and your soul knows exactly what you've come to explore and experience while on this planet. So vibrate higher, and I will chat with you guys later. Peace, love, and light. Oh, and lastly, remember, what you conceive is what you'll receive. What you expect is what you'll get. And whatever you feel is what will become real for you. So vibrate higher, and I'll chat with you guys later. Peace, love, and light.